indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Amy, are we online and ready to go?
Yep, looks like it.
What do you have for us this evening, Amy?
Minutes from last meeting.
4 minutes. I'll make a motion. All in favor, I can't vote because I wasn't here. What else? Amy?
Payroll register.
Sir, if you want to grab one of these chairs and slide up, sit down, you're welcome to. Thank you. Yep. Thank you very much. Motion on payroll register.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, get another second. Motion is second, all in favor?
Who made that motion?
What else, Amy?
Then I have an invoice here for Yoder Construction for the 4-H buildings.
Yes. Does everybody know what's happened there? We're gonna go ahead and get started on getting 4-H buildings repaired. They give us the price and we need some money down, so we're gonna give them $20,000 from this fund. All in favor?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and give them $20,000 to start the roofing process.
I'll just remind, this comes from the insurance that they sent us, insurance money. We already have the money, yeah, so, yeah.
Make that motion, we start 20,000, get materials and get started.
And his total bid was
189.
189. 189,665 to do all the buildings.
You've already voted, have you already voted to accept that?
That's what we need to do first.
That's what I want, yeah.
Yes, we need to vote to accept that.
I rescind my motion on the 20,000. I will make a motion to go ahead and accept the 189.
665.
665.
The bid,
Replace
yeah.
the bid to replace the roofs at the fairgrounds from the health damage that they incurred.
Motion second, all in favor? Okay, now I need a motion to approve this $20,000 down payment.
I'll make a motion to approve the $20,000 down payment.
And motion second, all in favor? Thank you, Terry. What else, Amy?
That's all I have.
Jerry, what do you have for us, Steve?
First, we had previously prepared hold on for joint for the entire project. They planning on that we contribute, I think.
Okay.
I have another portion of that. There's the description of it that you might want to just initial, and there's some map shown. It's on West Washington Street and 90 West. And when we gave them when we gave them hold harmless, it was, the condition was they would come in and we just initial each individual project.
So Jerry, are you asking that this part of the project be approved?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Are you okay with everything here, Jerry?
Yeah.
To get it straightened out on West Washington Street where they dug in people's yards on the box that was put in. There's one in here. About 6 weeks ago, they're complaining about.
Don't know about that. I know we got it straightened out with the guy who didn't want the pedestal in the middle, be simple drive.
Yeah.
We got that one. I think that was Frontier Level. Yeah.
So any comments on this part?
Joint is always one of responsible when we ask them.
I know what a handhold is, but what's a flower pot? Is that a name for something special?
Flower pot?
Yeah, 6 flower pots in one pot.
I said it's probably one of those.
The typical, handholds.
Well, they got 13 handhold and 6 flower pot.
I don't know what flower pot is.
I'd like to know what that, I'd like to know what that is. If they're putting flowers up there for decorations in front of Blaine's house or what they're doing. I don't know.
And we don't know what they are, just then we'll approve it and I'll find out for next week.
There's 6 round places here and then there's 13 square ones. The square ones are handholds. I'm wondering if maybe some of our pots aren't an extension of the handhold by looking here.
Flower pots is just a smaller one.
Just a smaller handhold.
just a small handhold.
Okay. I wondered if that was
It's
just a
round.
name for that.
I only seen those on, I only seen pedestals and handholds. So
The
that's all.
the pedestal's usually kind of bigger and
Yeah.
about the size of a tub, wash cover, something like that. And these are smaller round guns.
Well, that's what it's got on the map here. It's got round ones and square ones. So
Yeah.
It looks like you're going up the road. That's what it looks like. One on one side and the other.
handhold on one side,
Yeah.
flower pot on the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Where's that at?
West Washington Street Road. Oh, your front yard.
Where's that at?
See,
Looks like it's in the southeast corner of your property.
Will they be cutting the road in that hold harmless clause? Like they did
No,
everywhere
no.
else?
No. We require everything to be bored.
Why is it
I think some of these ones that are cutting the roads are ones that haven't come to us for
You hear
approval.
that, but-
It is on my property. He wasn't lying.
Blake? Yeah,
It better be flat.
it will be.
You'll mow it over.
If or not, it will be flat.
Any more conversation on this?
Am I allowed to say that?
On record.
I agree.
I'll, entertain a motion to do this.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead and approve it.
Yeah, motion, I get a second. All right, all in favor? Okay. What do you need to sign, Jerry?
Just pick one of those descriptions.
So initial one, didn't it?
Yeah, just initial one of those and narrative. That's what we're gonna do.
Terry, is there any way we have something where the crews out here working and have, we have one person speak English? Is there any way to regulate that or not, or?
I don't think so.
I think most of them speak English, it's just all of a sudden they can't.
Alright,
I think most of them speak English or can, it's just all of a sudden when you talk to them, they can't. It's convenient.
None of the ones on front here I talked to admitted to speaking English.
Right, they probably knew everything you were telling them though. And we got some more paperwork too, Jerry and Terry from out on Frank Street where they're putting stuff in the ditch and cutting the road, blocking the road. So we need to look into that too, and I've got some paperwork here, you've got there too.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay, next. We are, if we want to continue to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program, we have to modify our floodplain, our flood prevention ordinance to, align with what the feds say we have to have. And so this is a draft version of that. I want to give this to you guys. We're probably not gonna want to read through it all. But at least you will have one. And I'll be finalizing it and asking you guys to,
This is that template they provided, is this?
yeah, the colored, the changes are in red.
So I was getting asked if there was red lines there.
Yes, the changes are in green, but they're not required. And you can ignore the yellow. That's, if I'd made enough changes to change the page and paragraph numbers, those would have been wrong, but they're all correct. Let's just for your review, probably come next meeting or the meeting after that.
Can we get it in color next time?
Yeah.
Since it's black and white.
Yeah, I'm not sure what these colors
Yeah.
are.
It's all in black and white.
Oh, is
It
it?
has no color.
I can get you color or I can email you or whatever.
Or just email.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Anything else, Jerry?
The only other thing is our binder bridge inspection, looks like the proposals. And the last day at 3 o'clock is the date of our next meeting.
Okay.
So we'll get together as a group and score those.
We need to do that before the meeting.
Well,
Or
you
do we have a
probably,
little bit of time?
you've got as much time as you want. You will have not had them for more than a few hours to review. The day of your next meeting. So I will email everybody a copy or get you hard copy, whichever you prefer.
That's for hard copy. So you can email it to me, but it's easier for me for hard copy.
But at some point after that, we need to set up the time to score and sort things.
And I think if we take that into account, when we get those papers next meeting, then we can send it
Okay.
at the next meeting. I think.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Jerry. Terry, what do you have for us?
I don't have anything other than what we've been discussing over the last few days.
Okay. John, what do you have for us? This evening?
I have anything today.
Okay. Brant?
Right now, our district, I got one dump truck down, it has a blown engine in it. I'm looking to get quotes on that. To possibly get it fixed, not sure how much it's gonna cost. Also, one of my new pickup trucks that we purchased, it is in the shop again. With some issues, so it's down at Eubler right now, getting looked at. We're supposed to know something today, haven't got a call yet or anything on it. I'm not sure what's going on with that just yet. I emailed you both some quotes on a new truck
Correct.
that we're looking to purchase. I think the total,
272, 575.
Yeah.
I haven't, that's what I had that.
yeah. So with everything equipped, it's, I've got a quote from Bo Mack, which is who we've been, doing business with for quite some time. They gave us, pretty much matches our other truck other than it's been equipped with snow equipment. The total price is 272. What was it?
575, 272, 575.
So the total would be $272,575. Or that's to outfit it with snow equipment and everything else.
Well,
Yeah.
delivery day, you only talking.
They won't give us that until we sign a purchase order for it.
Did
So
you get any indication of how long?
they said possibly up to a year and a half.
Say John waited 2 years on that last one.
So depending on if they can get a chassis in right away and how quick they can get it in and then ship it to Indy for all the outfitting.
Okay. And you're wanting to purchase one of these
Yes.
if you see that you have the funds.
Yeah, if we have the funds, I'd like to, see if we can get one purchased and get started going. So
John, are you doing that?
Well,
I mean,
Gotta make a motion.
maybe you want to make a motion then, John?
I'll make the motion. We'll find a way.
Make a motion for Brent. Look into purchasing this. If he has the funds to go ahead. I'll second that motion. All in favor? Okay. So I'd say move forward on that one then.
appreciate it.
And then let us know what you find out for sure.
Also 54 closed, had a lot of road damage. I've been getting with Jerry on a lot of things.
So you got a hole out there.
I got people out there right now. We just spent, we received funds from the mine to pave the road and now it's almost trash again. So we're looking at ways to get that fixed. I do have a culvert as well down on Division Road 1100 South. It's starting to buckle under. It's a very, very large culvert. It's probably going to cost some money to the county, but we need to figure out, what'd you say the flow rate you was thinking?
Well, there's about 9 square miles. It runs through.
Yeah.
It's a 9-foot round pipe.
Is
that
it like a rail car?
No, it's
It's
round,
an actual pipe.
round pipe that, in times of heavy rain, water gets right to the top of it. So it's carrying its maximum flow.
And we're cleared out below it so it can get away. So, okay.
Yeah,
So we're looking at a box or
multi-plate type structures.
And it's been washing the road out quite frequently. We've been spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars trying to get this fixed and it's just not. So that's something else we're gonna have to look into to, get it going and get it fixed. But other than that, that's all I have right now.
Righty. List of things here. Start off first. Jason, you emailed us today about an HVAC.
I didn't know if everybody had a chance to read that. I mean, I just got it late Friday. I don't know if Terry'd seen the contract yet.
And it's not time sensitive or anything, is it?
It's not a major time sensitive. I mean, I would appreciate so I can get it going, but if we have any HVAC issues,
Is that it, Jason?
what's that?
If you got it with you?
Yeah.
I think I did look at it. Let me look at it. Just to see.
If I have any HVAC issues, we're not gonna be able to remote in to see what the problem is.
And that's the biggest thing. They did it for a year and then
Well, they did it, yeah, well, and then we had a problem. We tried to remote in and we couldn't because it expired and they didn't send us an email to say that we need to redo it or anything. So the thing about it is Eric from Shekel that does all our HVAC serious work could look at it from Evansville to see what the issue is, and then very, very easily my maintenance man can take care of something small, you know what I mean?
And are you looking at the 1 year? I seen there was a 1, 2, and 3 year
It's
price.
3 years.
Oh,
But it's that much a year for the 3 years.
I didn't
So
know.
in 3 years, it would have to be 4 years, it'd have to be reviewed.
Yeah, I don't
But
think
it's-
I looked at all this, so I probably need a
Okay.
little bit of time. I don't think I did.
If I could get you guys to possibly, if Terry, with
I-
Terry's approval, to make a motion that I can sign it and send it to him, we'll get it started.
I will go ahead and make a motion that to go ahead with it as long as Terry approves the contract. And then I would also make a motion that Jason to sign the contract once it's Terry's approved it.
I got a motion. A motion second. All in favor?
Thank you. You want to keep that copy?
Did you count?
Yeah, you can keep it. Here, you can have the
I
envelope, too.
like to mark on them.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have a hospital board appointment. Bruce Walker currently sitting in that seat. Bruce is here this evening and he sent us a letter of interest. We also have a letter from Stephen D. McCammon. And we have a letter from William M. Taylor. If you guys had a chance to look at these letters. And if you're ready to make an appointment.
No one contact me with Bruce. Okay, I'll make a motion. Bruce point in.
Got a motion, got a
Also, I'll
second?
second that.
Okay, I got a motion and a second to appoint Bruce. All in favor? Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You're stuck with it for another year. Thank you, Bruce, for your service too. All right, I finally was in touch with one of the appraisers this week, got back with me. And he can work with the second person I called to. I haven't heard back from him yet, but he's given me an estimate of $2,500 to appraise today. So he said he'd take about 15 days to do it once we turn it loose. So you guys want to think about that? You want to make a decision this evening? It's stuff, you know,
I mean, it's gotta be appraised, so you gotta see how much value of it.
and we could have possibly twice that in by the time we get a second appraisal.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have to have two. So, whatever you think.
I'll go ahead and make the motion that we go ahead and have the price of $2,500 go ahead with the first appraisal.
Got a motion, a second to go ahead and appraise it. All in favor? Well, that's I was, for what he's got to do over there. Yeah. Also, I've been working and I've talked to you guys and give you some paperwork in your folders last week about trying to get the community enhancement trust for the money. I have two options. Both of them are finance wise was about the same. One of them was First Financial, one was Brian Burkhardt, who handles our retirement now. So if you guys want to make a decision, we can get that done. We can start and get that money in for these. Because they're wanting to give us this money. And I want to make sure I get this set up with them first before we.
My question is how quick so if they collect interest off of it, how quick could they get that?
Probably gonna be a year.
And I know with some of the stuff with Brian Burkhardt, is there any penalties with pulling that money out or no?
There was actually a loan provision in there.
Okay,
You got that paperwork?
yeah, I have it.
Read back through that paperwork. There was a loan provision in there where they can borrow up to a certain amount of that principal.
Okay.
The idea is to protect that principal, and then they could pay that back to themselves, basically get themselves money, and then, but there wouldn't be any interest payments until that principal is paid back. So they can borrow against the principal. That way, hopefully that principal, my goal is to protect that principal, but if they need it, they can get at it. So. And if we've got more questions, we're not ready to do this tonight, we can ask these questions of Brian or first, either way, whichever way you want to go. Brian doesn't make any money
Yeah,
managing our retirement. So this is a chance to throw him a bone, to let him make some money to do this for the community enhancement funds. So just my thoughts on it. And if you not ready to do anything tonight, that's fine, we can move on. I just want to bring it.
what do you think?
I would care about more with Brian.
And I can set things up with Brian and get things started going. We still gotta get our boards set up. Because we'll have to put a board in place to oversee these, to make the decisions on the money, to get, how the money gets dispersed.
Now, is that a board that we pick or is it their board?
No, it's a board that we'll set up. And there should be a commissioner and a councilman on there for sure. And then members of, like I said, Park and Lake, Merrim, Brown Baggers. Somebody from those boards should be on there too.
So should it just be one member and just have a 3-member committee?
That's where we've got to come together on that and figure that out. We've still got time to do that. I'm just looking at a way to receive the monies for them so they can start earning interest on them. Because and I can ask Brian, but I'm under the impression that, they need to go a certain amount of time before they're able to get into this interest money. It's got to grow money.
Yeah.
So. You guys want to table that for tonight? We can table it. Ask more questions.
I mean, it's gotta be set up anyways, and I mean, when was the money expected to be put in?
Well, originally end of June. I got an email a couple of weeks ago wanting to know when they want us to get them. I said, well, I'm still trying to set up trust. So I think, and I will email Will back again once we get this set up. I think that's going to be pretty quickly.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and go with Brian Burkhart on that, and then we can get a board set up while it's sitting in there.
And that's the goal. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we need to sit down as the three of us and have some discussions on who needs to be on this board.
Okay.
And who we want to take care of that stuff. So
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we go with Brian Burkhart.
Second.
I got a motion and a second to go with Brian Burkhart with our investments. In favor? Looking through my emails today. Terry, where are we at on Corsica? Because Amy sent me an email about some bills that need to be paid. They're asking, and we had a vote here sometime back not to pay any more bills to Corsica. Where are we at on that transfer and getting things from them?
I don't think anything's changed at this point.
They haven't responded to you, have they? I didn't think they had.
Okay, that's what I wanted, because I knew you
No,
said
they didn't respond to me.
they sent you a letter. Okay,
Has Ryan got all his?
You haven't heard anything
stuff
either,
from-
have you?
No.
that's the problem. He can't get,
Well, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
he can't get a lot of stuff. I don't think Ryan has gotten it. I haven't talked to Ryan for about a week, so I don't know.
It can access anything until Corsica releases it.
Of course, really. So,
I don't remember how long ago that was, we sent a letter. I don't remember.
2 or 3 meetings ago, that we, I think.
yeah, it's probably been it's probably been
Was
at least a
upstairs.
month, 6 weeks. Yeah. And I can
I'll try to look into it.
okay, I can try to send an email to Jared, see if he'll respond. And Amy, why don't you send an email to your contact person? Between the three of us, maybe.
From Corsica.
Corsica. Between the three of us, we can get a response from somebody.
About what?
About
The-
where we're at on getting this taking over, about changing IT people.
Okay.
Yeah, I never heard anything from him. When you send something to him, Bob, copy me on it, okay, and I'll follow up too.
Health Department water line. Health Department's run into an issue over there where they found a water line. My thoughts are, it was under the parking lot before, it's a private line. My thoughts are, we don't want an active water line under our new building. So we're working with, Terry, I think you've.
I've been involved.
Okay. We're working with trying to get a hold of the building owner to try to get this figured out, because it's not their fault. It's not our fault. So I think Doc and I have talked about this. I think we're willing to cost share with them to get this done. However, we can't get a reply back from the building owner. I went and talked to the manager to give a message. Doc has tried to call several times. So I'm ready to appoint at this, they're getting far enough along on the building. Terry, maybe we need to send a letter from the lawyer to say, hey,
Okay,
we're willing to do this, but we need contact from you so we know what we're gonna do. Because when the building goes up, as far as I'm concerned, the water line needs to be cut. We don't want an active water in our building. If it's something ever go wrong, then you're gonna tear up the building to fix it.
right.
So. And if you need information, of course, you probably got all the information.
Yeah,
Doc's
I'd
got
like
it.
some updated, cause I know Doc was talking to me and he kept requesting more records and different stuff, so we kinda got bits and pieces, didn't we? One point, I thought it changed a little even, didn't it?
At one point, we thought there was an easement, but then it turned out that was the wrong easement.
Oh, it was, okay,
They've never
Okay.
found an easement for that water.
okay. Do you have a good address on the building owner?
Yes, I can get you the information.
Send me that and I'll, okay.
Are we anywhere with paperwork with Parkland? No.
No, I sent them those photos, sent Rick Hall today, those photos that we got in today. I talked to Rick, talked to me last night at like 9 o'clock again.
Okay.
Was
I talked to him yesterday.
reminded him that we wanted the letter prepared.
Yeah.
So I know before they hadn't done it because they're waiting on information with Jerry, but then I copied from Jerry, an email and Brant. He gave them all the information.
Yeah, that was like a week.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and send a letter with the commissioner's approval to go ahead and even part from the letter.
Okay.
And make them aware of what's going on.
As far as the road use,
Road use.
this
No,
abuse.
Yes.
So,
Okay, I got a motion in a second. All in favor?
No, I recommend that too.
Okay, so if you want to go ahead and get that sent, we'd really appreciate it.
Well, I think Rick wanted their litigation department to send it officially.
We'll then get on Rick and tell you get on. And if I have to, I'll call him too.
Yeah, I would say go ahead, tell it too, because I've been after. I could send him, but I think it's kind of probably more appropriate because he's the one that's been dealing with them directly. Right. In his law firm. You and I have only dealt with him ancillary.
Right, exactly. Okay. Jason, you had nothing else, right?
No, that was all I had.
Yeah, I have a couple things. This guy's talk reminded me, the EDA payment. You got that second one?
Yeah.
You guys want to invest that?
I think for this time, I think I would entertain a motion to invest that, just like the rest of them.
I'm gonna make a motion, we invest that.
I got a motion and a second to invest that, this is Truck Indiana.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
Might as
all in
well.
favor?
And capital asset policy, broken record here.
Yeah.
Now listen, when I talked to him, they gave me a couple names of somebody to contact.
Okay.
With your
I think that-
permission,
I think that was the issue we had, we didn't know who to get a hold of.
with your permission, can I contact them and see?
Is
One
there-
was-
is there a company that can help us?
There is, there's a
That-
few.
that can go around?
I asked Jason Stimler if they could, he got back to me, so they couldn't. But he also gave me a recommendation. He says their clients say that it's really good.
Yeah, one of them is that Hartman and Williams, which Mike Williams used to work for State Board of Accounts years ago. He's retired, yeah. And him and his daughter in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bloomfield.
Yeah.
Bloomfield, yeah, okay.
I'd like to contact them.
I think we need to, if Jerry has a contact, and you have a contact, let's just get a quote from him and get it going so we can get this done.
Well, it's not gonna be cheap,
But I know,
but
it's unfortunate.
I've been here for 8 years and every year this comes up
Right.
and we're flying under the radar and we're not going to anymore.
Yeah,
That's your motion.
I'll make a motion that we contact the guy that, or the person that Jerry got, and the person that Amy has to contact, and make a motion to get a quote from them to see what it's gonna cost to
Get our ass.
get our capital asset.
Get your assets together.
I mean, it's gonna cost an arm and a leg, we already know that.
Yeah, it's not gonna
We-
be,
we gotta
it's
figure
not
out
gonna
what
be
we
cheap.
can get.
And then once it's done, you can always just update ourselves. Yeah. We can take off and add to, you know,
The state board of accounts is gonna say, boys,
Yeah,
this don't work.
yeah, they could send you in front of the legislature.
We got a motion, do I have a second? Yeah. Motion and second, all in favor?
Okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, both of you, please. Anything else, Amy?
That's it.
All right. Old business, Katie Morgan. You can step into the room now, Katie.
Don't drop my camera.
Oh, stay away from it. All right. So I March and April's report. I couldn't make it to the meeting for March's. So you can kind of see that we had 141 total runs. Total of 108 of them were billable. We did go into the city quite a few times in March, but I believe that's just because they were out on other runs. We did have quite a few lift assists as well that we helped them out with. And then in April, we had 155 runs. As of now, it's 82 billable runs, but we're still in the middle of May, so there's a good chance that'll change.
I hope.
You hope, sorry. Couldn't hear very
My
well.
voice is still-
And then we were in the city for 13 runs, and same thing with that time frame. But I was kind of looking through as far as our net charges from last April through this April, and it looks pretty good. I think we're gonna keep seeing what we're seeing as far as an increase in the net charges on a monthly basis. I think it's gonna look well for us. So any questions on this before I move on to the next part?
To that improvement.
So Brent and I discussed with the billing company, we upped the percentage rate, and actually we upped it again for non-Medicare, Medicaid, to counteract the fact that Medicare, Medicaid pays very little. So that's really what it is for the private insurance, and the patient self-pays has been bumped up, and that's what's kind of helping with that counteracting. So just so you guys are updated, the Big Beautiful Bill grant money that's coming to the state, I am working really closely with it for transportation, with Cass and Heron, at the ER, maybe discussing how we can help, with that, potentially like a transfer truck. They kind of have changed the timelines around for some things, so I actually kind of got shoved into doing a budget earlier than I thought. We can always withdraw at any time, but I just want you to be aware that I am gathering all that. I'm submitting it in case we want to. That's obviously a discussion we'll have to have a little further, but I don't want to lose the opportunity by being too far behind now. You have to have it done by Friday. Found out it's Friday. I had to have it filled out. So I'm working on that. Elaine, one of our medics, really wants to do mobile integrated health, working with Dr. Gamble and Jennifer Knight. It's all part of this grant money to do a startup for it. We are going to discuss with the billing company tomorrow if they have the ability to bill for it, and what they're seeing as far as like if there's profit revenue so we can sustain ourselves. I think that'd be a great improvement. They'll talk more about it. She's handling a lot of that with Jennifer, so I'm not as far into it, but they saw a lot of improvement in Greene County. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. But other than that, I have specs for trucks. I've just got the one Friday. I was out of town pretty much all weekend, so I didn't send it to you guys, and I can send it to you. But I just wanted you guys to kind of look over them. They're two different ones. The Crest line was 235,000. I'm not The price of this is different. I think he had to change something in it, so that he hasn't gotten the new price, but it was around 355,000. So there was a big difference. But there's some things we added in this one that they can't do on this one. So I only printed out one copy just because there's a huge chunk of them, but I just wanted you guys to be able to look around, as you want to, okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
Who did you go through for those?
So Crestline is who sold us Gap 2, Michael Kidwell.
Okay.
And then the wheel coach is Jack from Fire Services. I had another guy reach out, but I haven't received anything from him. So
And are those truck chassis or those
they're 350s or 350s
E chassis or F-series?
F-Series.
Both of them.
Yes.
Bit heavier chassis.
They're a tad bit they're about a tad bit taller than Scat 2, which is better because even I up in it. Not as bad as the van, but definitely, putting our heads off the top isn't super fun. So but yeah, a few different things we added on this one that Crestline just can't do, but it's not a huge deal thing. So, and they're diesel. So we'll have to keep the diesel tank now. Either red.
We didn't have much to get the gas.
They do not make any gas anymore.
Oh, you gotta be the E series.
And the E-Series just can't handle the chassis. It's like,
Oh, the E-series. The E-series are getting so torn up on these county roads, it's not sustainable anymore. They're definitely gonna go to the truck chassis and dual wheels.
I just know that we've had trouble with the diesels in the past. That's
Now,
why I
are
asked.
these both of these four-wheel drive?
four-wheel
Okay.
drives.
Was that-
Yeah,
that's something
yeah, we gotta
we
have
need.
four-wheel drives.
Yes.
Yeah, so. You were talking about transfers. Have you and Michelle
No.
talked to each other? I know we've
Yeah.
been trying to, I haven't had a chance to set up anything to talk, but
Mm.
maybe that's something we need, if you're looking for a transfer truck, maybe that's something we need to start working our way to.
Yeah.
Michelle,
She's back there.
She's back there.
Uh,
Ivy.
we'll just reach out to her, Katie,
Mhm.
and just start the conversation.
Sure.
And then maybe we can get together and start figuring some things out and, where we want to go from there, so. If you,
Yeah.
with that, Michelle, you good with that? Okay. I know your Transcare is now the provider up there.
Yes.
But if we can start doing something locally to get more local people hired in and, working for the community still, I think that'd be a better thing, so.
I think we have like a better staffing system to help support it too. That was a big problem, I think, before is the lack of staff, but now we're good on staff for the most part. That's nice.
Okay.
Anything else?
Me, guys. Anything
All right.
else? Thank you, Katie. Sherry Treadway. I thought I saw you come in.
How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So glad it wasn't stormy. Horrible storm in Washington over here.
It's nice to see you guys again. Thank you for allowing me to come tonight. Just wanted to make you aware of a few things that we're working on at DSI in Four Rivers. First of all, we appreciate all of the help you've given us in the past. We know we certainly couldn't do what we do without you guys' support and partnership. It's our 50th year in business this year, so we're celebrating a big anniversary. And
Good.
I haven't been there the whole 50 years, even though it feels like it some days. But I have been here 30, so been hanging around for a while. We have currently 30 people that we're serving here in Sullivan County with disabilities through our day program, our residential services, in our REACH program, and also through our supported employment program. And as I think you know, most of our funding comes from the Medicaid waiver program, but our employment funding does come through vocational rehabilitation. So anyone that we're trying to help with job search or supporting them on the job, that funding is coming through VR. We're still being asked to do a lot of our services out in the community, which We like it, goes with our mission statement, but it does cost more to take people out in the community, especially now with gas prices being what they are. It also takes more staff to take people out in the community than it does to have them in the center, so that we can make sure everybody is safe. But we do feel, we feel positive about them being out in the community, and we think it also helps the local businesses here too, because we are involved in lots of things in the community. Also wanted to mention that we are currently exploring the possibility of developing some accessible housing in Sullivan, because we would like to expand our residential program for the people that we work with. But we don't find a lot of accessible housing here, so I know that's a need. Obviously, it would not only serve our people, but it would serve anyone in Sullivan County as well, so.
Are you like single family units, multiple units, duplexes?
I think they're just exploring all possibilities right now to see what kind of funding they can find, so, yeah. I think they'll look.
Well, that's what I had in my mind right now. Have you been in contact with Brian Keller from Thrive?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I will certainly ask that.
Got a pretty good housing program going on. I know he's been looking at trying to get some developers here in the county anyway
Okay,
for housing, so, and I can get you his contact information if you need to do that.
Yeah.
That'd be a great help, because they've got money to help for infrastructure and stuff too.
great. Yeah,
and
I
he's
love that.
Always looking for grants. too.
Okay, yeah, perfect. And I'll be sure to pass that on to the people that are working on it. We are also working to build some relationships with the Sullivan County high schools. In most of our other counties, we do a service called pre-ETS, which is pre-employment transition services. So we work with high school students who have an IEP as they're deciding what they want to do after they get out of high school, whether they want to go to college or trade school, or if they're just going to go straight into the job market. So we help them kind of explore careers and that kind of thing. But we don't do that in Sullivan County. We haven't got that relationship pinned down. So that's something that we're working on. We do employment services, so we'd love to have that piece because it's kind of fits together.
Yes.
And that's all through vocational rehabilitation as well. And then the only other thing I would mention kind of goes along those lines. Down in Washington, we were able to get a state United Way grant to develop a hospitality training center. So it has a hotel suite, it has a coffee shop, and then we have a kitchen and laundry facility. That's just basically for training. And so even though it's in Washington, it's available for all of our clients to use. So even our folks from up here will be going down a couple times a month to be able to use that facility for training. And we're also looking at working with VU to do some classes there as well for some of their programs. So it's kind of what we've got going on. Those are a few new things that we've got, but I appreciate you letting me come in and take up your time. And we hope that you can keep us in your budget again this year. And we appreciate all the support from the past.
You don't have an amount here. Did you have a certain amount?
We would like to request $30,000 again this year.
Okay.
So,
And we're going into budget for next month too, so
okay,
we can be able to look into this and then we can see what we can get.
okay. And if you get me that information on Thrive, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. You need to look-
Is this your cell phone number here?
Yes, it is.
Do you text?
Yep,
I'll
Sure
text-
do.
I'll text you that information.
that'd be perfect.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
Any other old businesses you come in this evening?
You don't mind. Printing these out today. For you guys to look at. Couple things out. So, one thing I'd like to point out is on page 1. This is from Indiana Economic Digest. It says that Potentia in April stated the project represents 65 billion in total investment by 2030. 4 years is not very long. and that's gonna be rolling around awful fast. So my concern is that no more assistance than we've had out of Potentia, that they're liable to slide a bunch more stuff in here without proper notice and so on and so forth. So I just want to bring that up. Also, if you go to page 2, I highlighted here, which we've met with Mr. McCray. It highlights there that he basically states that they're the developer and not the general contractor. So they've already pushed all the blame off on ARCO. So my thing is, they came to us talking PLA, but they never brought ARCO along.
And I think most everybody here knows you, but Buzzy, tell everybody who you're here representing.
David Willis, I'm a business agent with the Boilermakers, also vice president of the building trades out of Terre Haute.
Thank you.
So the problem I see moving forward is we need more contractor, these guys need to be getting their contractors lined up and presenting them to you guys and to the public instead of waiting till the last minute so we can play the pass off game here in the blame game. They told us that WB Kester was going to do the laydown yard in the parking lot. They also told us that Great X was going to do the dirt work. And they also told us that MJ Electric was going to do the electric, all good union contractors. So since that's all been, told to us, they've announced that all that work went non-union to out of state. Some of them are in state, but most of them are out of state contractors. I guess my ask would be whether this general contractors union or non-union, we can still work with them as well. They can sign a per job compliance where they can become signatory or what have you. But if we don't know who these contractors are that these developers are bringing in here, we're gonna get railroaded again, just like we did here recently. And then I've got, I don't know if you guys, so on YouTube, you can go on there. I've got a couple things recorded. I don't know if you want me to play them or not, but one of them is from the Indiana Business radio station. It had an interview with Illich on there, basically stating, I mean, I can play it for you if you want. It's only like 30 seconds or whatever. It's not gonna take much time, but it's up to you.
No, I'm
whatever you do.
I'm good.
And I don't know if
How many public needs to know?
I don't know if they can hear it or not either.
Officer for Texas-based Potentia construction is underway on the first phase of the planned $65 billion Heartland Industrial Park in Sullivan County. Village Fahimi said the more than 1,000-acre site was ideal for the project.
Great connectivity to power. We scoured all across the nation, and we aligned with the community and heard the county's needs, the state's needs, and just aligned with our core needs.
Developers expect the first building to be completed by the end of the year, with the second building coming online in early to mid 2027. Elkhart-based manufacturer.
So, he's saying he's aligned with the county and all their needs and so on and so forth. I guess what I'm saying, these guys are professionals that come in and doing snow jobs with everybody along with their interviews. So that's, I know I had an ask at the last meeting or maybe 2 meetings ago that we, get more details, put them on a 90-day to 120-day time frame or something where we have a waiting period for these use permits. I would like to even add to that and say that, they need to state who their contractor is. So you guys can have discussions with who their contractors are. Let them know kind of what you guys expect, don't expect, just so everybody's on the same page before we get started off on the wrong foot.
Is that something we can put in our road use agreement going forward?
Yeah, I think that's, we're gonna talk to Rick Hall about that. He's the one that does these all over the state, so. I know some of the stuff we talked to him about, he was like, well, it's really not enforceable in a road use agreement, so I think that's specific questions we need to throw at him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm just throwing out,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, it don't,
details and stuff. Gosh,
we
Terry.
just don't wanna run into the same situation as this, what we just ran into, that's the.
Because of all these developments that we've done over the last several years, we've always encouraged them to use local contractors. And if they could use, if the union worked for them, use that too. But local is one of the big things. Brant finally got one of our local businesses to get some business out there, but so far that's the only one. Did you get some business out there too? So that's two that I know of then.
And that's being their ear every day, trying to fight for fight for the local companies. I mean, and I'm still, cause every single day I get a phone call.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we are trying.
No, I know.
And
When
it's
I'm-
not, it's not the commissioners who just either the bucks, it's.
You know, we're blind as well ourselves, so.
Yeah.
I think Brian and I probably talked to each other last month more like.
Yeah.
So we're protected.
No, it's great that we can ask that and going forward with everything. And then, like I said in the last meeting, this is a hard lesson learned for not just us, but for everyone.
But if we can learn that
If
lesson,
we, yes,
that's the key.
I think we've really, you know, are taken it to the next level, you know, getting the input that we need to make sure this doesn't happen again.
So I know also you mentioned the road use agreement and I had some discussion about that. So, I guess my thing is, you know, they've got 54X, which has had coal buckets on it for 30+ years. I'm sure I drove up and down there 16 years myself. There's more than enough access and stuff to that road. But my opinion is they need to put a bigger entrance and exit off of there for their property because they've got everything, you know, everything's all bound up there because they're not using it. And then they're using Washington Street, they're using all these other roads because I just think if they put an entrance and an exit on there that's wide enough to use, but I wasn't there today, but when I was there last week, they've got all their stuff parked in the way to where there's not enough room for the trucks to come in and off of there anyway. It's just that they've got everything too confined there. They need to open it up, put some more rock in or whatever, so these trucks don't have to wait out on the roads. They can get in and get out.
It's a safety issue because we still have coal trucks running down through there. I mean, Michael, you and I have talked a couple times about it too, so.
It's a matter of time before something bad does happen, because, you know.
Jerry, do you know what the width of those entrances are supposed to be offhand without? On the road agreement.
You know, anything internal, if it's just a road use agreement, anything internal to their side is, I mean, they're not meeting half the requirement. For example, they weren't supposed to put a single driveway entrance in until they staked them, and then we went out, looked at the location and approved.
And they did it anyways.
They're already there, or some of them.
Plus, they've used roads they're not authorized to use under the road still, but for sure. You know,
That's what we need to have that letter about.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
one of my things is, okay, this morning I had some trucks, big rock, go by my house on West Washington Street. Brand new road, took me what, 6-7 years to get you to do it, but we got it done and they're tearing it up already.
I say I got a call from gentleman in the back room.
So,
Same situation.
I mean, I don't know your road agreement. Are they allowed to use Washington Street?
It's not part of the bonded
So
road.
how do you stop that? I mean,
question. I mean,
How do you stop it?
legal action. Yeah.
Jason, I mean, do you have the deputies to enforce anything out there if you know the roads are not supposed to be using?
Well, I'd have to prove that that's where they're going, first of all, as far
I
as the
got
weight,
pictures.
as far as the weight limit. I mean, we don't carry scales.
What about, a no truck sign is an enforceable sign that doesn't pin on the weight limit?
Well, what are you gonna do to the farmers when they're going out that way?
Well, I think they're exempt.
Okay, then put it, as long as we can, it's a state, as long as it's a state statute, the sign itself and not just an ordinance.
No, they're black and white regulatory signs.
Yeah.
But we'd have to pass an ordinance.
They're hammering that road a lot. And then a couple of days ago, there was some low boys.
But the problem
Yeah.
is, it's gonna take years to litigate. And your road's gonna be tore up no matter what.
We're trying to catch them out there and trying to find the right person to say, Because some of these developers, we've had good luck getting to their boss and saying, hey, we're not using these roads, and they've enforced it. Some of them not had such good luck, have we here?
But is the issue with the developer or is the issue with the truck drivers? Because I talked to them this morning out there and they were saying how they had some issues with truck drivers coming in the wrong way. And then once they got out there, they weren't supposed to go that way.
Well, and that's where we dealt with, and I'll just mention the very first solar field out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
we had
but
some
the
problems.
other day, they went by and came back the same.
Yeah, I'm saying, I mean, that's,
We had some problems. We said something to our contact with the developer, and he actually fired some subs because they were taking the wrong, and that's where it's gotta go. It's gotta go to the developer or whoever they're telling is the developer now. That's where it's gotta go to get them to enforce.
because I've had truck drivers before and it don't matter what you tell them.
Exactly.
I think these trucks was let in by, the dirt contract.
Okay, that's why I don't know. I just,
Yeah, and that's where we need to get a hold of the dirt contractor maybe and talk to them. So.
And when I say legal action, just so I don't know if you guys understand or not, we had Barnes and Thornburg actually negotiated this road use agreement. And they handle these all over the state and even outside the state of Indiana. So they're the ones that we've been sending all this information to and waiting on them to respond to us to tell us what their recommendation is. So.
So I guess one question is, you mentioned that they didn't get a hold of you about putting that stuff in there, they just went ahead and done it.
Right.
Is there any way you can go out there and correct the situation and tell them they need to add another 20 or 40 feet onto it?
Well,
Move their stuff back off the road so we could get these trucks in and out of here?
well, there are some things in the works for this week.
Yeah.
And as soon, I'm not, until that happens, I'm not talking to them, giving them any approval.
Terry's working on some stuff with the legal side of it, but yeah, we gotta be careful what we talk about.
I understand.
Definitely.
My other thing on Washington Street is down by 200 west, that it's always flooding there. Is there any way you guys can dig a pretty good ditch from 200 all the way back to the bridge towards us?
so when we laid the field tile there,
It was doing it before.
well,
you did that.
there's a culvert that goes underneath that to that new culvert to there's no culvert in there on 200. It is plugged up at the road.
Did you get in touch with Dave that day about that?
Yeah, I talked to him about it. He said he'll put it on the list, but that culvert is plugged up.
Well, yeah.
At the stop
feeds
sign.
back and
Yeah, because it's plugged at the stop sign. It doesn't go through the riprap. So I talked to him, that's been a month ago or so, or longer than that, where they planted the fields, that culvert need to be, we went over trying to find it for our project, and it just needs to be culvert put all the way across that.
and if you dig the dirt out of the ditch, Conservation Gun Club will take the dirt, not unless Mitch wants it back in his field. But it's right half a mile from there. If you want to dump it somewhere.
Oh, I made a note here to call.
But I mean, that ditch needs all the way back towards that bridge past where Big John lives.
And the worst part about that all lays low in there, so you gotta be careful where you start.
It
your
lays
elevation.
from that bridge all the way to 200.
That has for a long time.
Yeah.
Because that culvert, it doesn't even extend out the outside the road, what we surveyed on, what we spoke through it.
But that ditch is almost flat now. It can't even handle water. It just goes across.
Actually, with the direction that culvert's going, when the water's pushing hard, it pushes it back up that ditch.
At least if once it goes down, it get out, but.
Right.
Any other old businesses you come in this evening?
Just a quick comment, that road out there by me that, you asked, was great, I agree, I'm Doug Followell, attorney in town, I'm also the city attorney, the mayor's here too tonight, as a matter of fact. But, there was a grain truck turnover out there on that curve where I met all those trucks this morning, looked like a convoy coming. But it was a grain truck of Ed Carmichael's, it flipped over on its side. Now, that's been several years ago, I was there right after it happened, my son was driving the grain truck. And Springer was coming down the road in a pickup truck, minding his own business, and they both of them couldn't get over on that curve. And that's what's happening out there right now, because there's no shoulder there. You look, a lot of that road, even clear to New Lebanon, there's a nice ditch there, which is a compliment to the county, but it makes it a one-lane road when you get all that traffic out there, especially with farming season as it is right now. You meet some of the farm trucks, farm combines, farm tractors, along with some of the things that New NextEra is doing. they've already had a track go across that road a couple of times. I had a little run-in with them on that. Well, the plant manager down, the project manager was in Tennessee, the landman was in Chicago, you know, we had a nice conversation. But I wanna let them know that if they're gonna start running traffic across that, they need to have somebody approve it. I think the county engineer needs some help. Hire a couple of deputies or pay him more or whatever, but get some help out there. He's a one-man show. Got a little office out there trying to run this whole thing, but it's gonna get out of control. Braden Cameron knows, so does Mike. There's gonna be some other projects come on, and this thing's gonna get wild and crazy. You watch and see. There's gonna be some accidents, but they're creating a traffic hazard by what they're doing there. This morning, it looked like a big convoy, grain trucks coming around that curve. So I just got over in the show, my little truck. Luckily, I didn't have to worry about it turning over, but if I hadn't got over, maybe one of them would have to turn over. So it's gonna happen. Just wait and see. So we gotta think ahead, but I think the county's in favor, county council are trying to help set up a county manager, if you will. I say when I was high mayor, we put in the sewer treatment plant, John Waterman, we hired a local operating engineer to oversee it, and he helped make sure it was put in correctly. We paid him out of our own pocket. It's done very well, but he needs some help. He needs 2 or 3 people. He could have some flagmen out there from the unions or whatever, or something with some authority to say, this is a hazardous operation, and we're gonna see that the safety rules are complied with. So it'd be easy to, you know, like I said, Barnes and Thornburg, I was there when he announced that. I met Red call. Anyway, it's gonna get out of control. Somebody's gonna have to get these truck drivers under control. I know they had a horrible time. Heard some stories about that at Fairbanks with just that little project up in that part of the county. You know what I'm talking about.
We were able to get part of that rectified because the manager was able to talk to the subs and say, this isn't gonna happen. So that's where we gotta get hold of the managers and get the managers to have some authority to do this. That's probably, that's part of the issue. It just, when it flows downhill, somebody doesn't let it flow.
And I appreciate you guys, the work you do. You're part-time technically. A lot of counties around the United States have county managers, cities have city managers, and some places. But, we're trying to open up, maybe a neat bike ordinance here in town, a scooter, electric scooter, just for the safety of not just the children, but the public as well. So, but, some counties have different organizations, but right now, I think your engineer department and the sheriff's department, give them some help. Put some more people on the road, but you're gonna have all this funding to do that and get some union people to assist you with it. And so I just need a little more planning. Jerry and I've talked several times. I think he's in agreement with what I'm talking about. In his position as engineer, he could be a county manager in a sense with some help. But you gotta get him some help. I think he's overworked now with everything he has to do, but he's the only guy who can really contact besides you guys answer the phone. That's all I got. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Doug. All right, on to new business. Do we have any new business this evening? Gotcha.
One of the deliverables for our emergency preparedness grant is that there's a jurisdictional risk assessment. So Mary Ann's completed this. Goes back to what their conversation was earlier. The number 1 risk she's determined is cybersecurity. So I guess it makes sense. Followed by fire, extreme cold and heat, flooding. So all those things. So there's a packet here. I just need to see if you guys would sign that we presented this to you. And you're welcome to have the packet if you want.
Any questions? We need to have a motion to sign this paper.
All 3 of us have to sign it. Just
It's,
Doesn't matter.
I think when Dr. talked earlier before, if we had, I think the more signatures we have, the better it's gonna be for him, but he'd like to have at least one committee.
I think we make a motion.
I'll entertain motions.
make a motion to sign it.
A motion and second.
This is a
All in favor?
July to June grant, so we will be renewing the grant in the next month or so, probably. And then just a matter of information, we're working on a new food ordinance. Our food ordinance is from 1995. So the state has changed the rule, so we need to match what the state has for the rule. So you'll probably be sending that to you to be reviewed, Terry, and then take it through the Board of Health and bring it here.
Sure. Doc, how's the new building coming along?
The decorative light pole is in the process of being moved, and the power pole moved out of the way today.
Good. So
There should be some progress.
Or you're gonna get information.
He said, Doc said he would send it to me.
Okay. Thanks. Right. Thank you, Doc. Any other new business this evening?
I got one, I forgot. Terry, or Graham Green, the old Graham Green up there by my office there.
Uh-huh.
At 850, there's two sewers on both sides of CSX that's falling in. There's semi-traffic all day long there, and they won't let us, of course, touch it. They didn't want us to anywhere close to it to patch it or anything, you know.
CSX won't.
Uh,
Yeah, and you know how that is federal law.
They probably 2 years before they look at it, so.
You have to
But
keep after them, and Jerry knows.
it's getting to the point. If we close that off 41. All that in the back's all new, blacktop, and if we put all that semi-traffic on that, this will be totally destroyed. So it's sort of a, I don't know. Something we'll have to dance for that here in the next couple of days.
Ray, do you remember what we had to do to get that one down by Paxton taken care of? Cause it was right up against the same kind of situation he's got, I think.
They finally just fixed it. I don't remember. I think I talked to a crew that.
Because we had to work on that one for a while to get that one done too. I didn't know if you
Well,
were.
it's been 6 months. I've called them probably every 2 weeks, 6 months. And I finally called him back the other day and he said it's their problem. Don't worry about it pretty much, you know, so. But how much liability are we gonna have on that? Cause you know,
I think we oughta, if you get me the details, I think we ought to send them a letter putting them on notice that it's a safety concern. And it's their responsibility and that's.
I just started going in about a month ago. It's about 36 inch pipe repair.
Yeah, I think you give me the details, email them to me
Okay.
with the name of the contact people and I'll send them a letter.
That it?
Yes, sir.
No other new business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
There you go.
Thank you, everybody, for being here this evening.
I think email.
Okay.